Welcome to Rico 12. I'm Justin B., your host and a child of an all-powerful, perfectly loving God and an addict living in the miracle of recovery one day at a time. Rico 12 is an open to all addictions and afflictions organization dedicated to exploring the common threads of the differing manifestations of alcoholism, sharing tools and offering hope from those walking a similar path. We gather from diverse backgrounds, faiths, and locations to learn and support one another. Our speakers come from various fellowships and experiences, demonstrating the universal principles of recovery. Rico 12 is not allied or affiliated with any specific 12-step fellowship. This is Rico 12 speaker meeting number 365. You could listen to one episode a day for a year and come out like that. Thank you for joining us live or on the recording later. Today's speaker is Cathy C, who spoke to us previously on meeting number 286, and I'm so grateful and excited to hear from her again today. Her talk today is entitled, No Middle-of-the-Road Solution. I had but two alternatives. I look forward to hearing more about this message in a few minutes, but first, a few quick announcements. Rico 12 offers a variety of recovery resources, including podcasts and social media communities. To explore more, visit Rico12.com or check out the chat or the show notes for links. I'll be posting some of those in the chat of the live meeting. Rico 12 is self-supporting, and your contributions help us continue this message. Thank you to all of our Spearhead donors, past and present, especially this last week. We had a great week. Sarah, Jesse, Brandon, Joseph, and Joanna, thank you all for the contributions you made this last week. If you out there feel your higher power nudging you to make a contribution, small or large, whatever it may be, to Rico 12, the information on how to do that will be in the chat and the show notes, and on the website at rico12.com/support. That's RECO12.com/support. Your support, both financially and by word of mouth, truly makes a difference in helping us share these messages of hope and recovery. Each week, we receive light and inspiration from our speakers. Their experience brings hope, meaning, worth, and growth to us as listeners. Now I'm going to welcome today's guest speaker, Cathy C, and she has light coming out of her eyes, as you can see. She's amazing. So here's a little bit about her. Cathy C is a member of Overeaters Anonymous since 2013, but only recovered since 2020. Through the grace of God and working all the steps, she is free from self-bondage. Cathy is able to say that the consciousness of the presence of God is today the most important fact of her life. Take it away, Cathy. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Justin, for all your service, for all you do for us. Really, really grateful. Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Cathy C. I am a recovered compulsive overeater and overthinker, but that's for another time. And I live in Montreal, Canada. I have spoken here before, and I do come on the meetings. I listen to the recordings, so I feel very grateful and honored to be here. And this morning, in my morning meditation, I was asking God to help me today, help me guide, help me be guided by His, wisdom. What am I to say? Who am I to help? And as long as I can help one person, I feel I have done what I was asked to do. And it's really always to carry, the message of recovery. And there is so much hope here. I came in hopeless. I seemed to feel like I had no hope, both in my body and my mind. And just by the grace of God, I was able to be relieved of the obsession of the mind, to do, to eat, to behave, and to hurt myself against my will. And this was happening for so long. So how did I get to a 12-step program? Well, obviously, I think like a lot of us, we wanted to stop, but we couldn't. At some point, we had an inkling and this. I need to see what this is really about. What is really happening? How can I really stop this? Like, what am I doing wrong, and why is this happening? Right? I had all these questions. So myself, I began compulsively eating. I also had the tendency to self-harm. I would bite my nails till they would bleed. Then I started smoking. And then food. I tried alcohol, but only the sweet stuff. And you can't really walk around with a margarita all day. People think you're Like, whoa, but a cookie, that's fine. Cake, hey, no problem. You can snack and all that. So food became, my thing. It was my go-to. And I started eating, and it's how I ate, not only what I ate, but it's how I ate. I thought, well, I'll just have one piece, or I'll just do it this time. But the truth is, it never just stopped at that one time, and I couldn't have just that one piece. And I came to OA because a friend said to me, we are like the alcoholic with alcohol when it comes to sugar and our behavior. How we obsess about everything, about everything food. And so I said, oh my gosh, let me Google, food addiction. So I did, found OA. I went to the rooms. I went to the meetings, right? I showed up every week. I listened to people share. I shared, but there was nothing happening. I didn't get a sponsor. I tried to get a sponsor, but then she left. So I thought it was just the way it is. So here I am thinking, okay, well, certainly something will happen. Certainly, something will change. But the thing is, honestly, I never did anything. I never picked up, the spiritual kit like it tells me in the big book. Finally, after being in the room a year and a half, trying to do it on my own again, after all this, experience of trying to diet, right, to starve, but then only to binge, trying to moderate. Again, this was me trying. I was not successful at all. I was, suffering. I would wake up, self-hate, regret, remorse, and I swore never to do it again. I always had those resolutions. I'm never going to do that again. Okay, now I know. Or what about fear? Fear would also scare me. Or what about the desire, right? The desire to lose those extra 20, 25 pounds and to be happy. I just want to be happy. If I'm thin, I'll be happy. Right. This is what I thought was my problem. I just need the right food. Something's wrong with my taste buds, and I would do all sorts of things, just like Bill, right? At the beginning, he thought he was having fun. It was exciting. And then, it became a necessity. All right. So necessity, like brushing your teeth, right? That's a necessity. We need to brush our teeth. So for me, I need to have my stuff. I need to have a little bit. But then I'd have it to a point of oblivion, just like Bill. And then losing job, feeling depressed, demoralized. I went through all of that. And this kept happening even in the rooms of OA, in the meetings, right? So people would say, keep coming back. So I keep going back, make outreach calls. Okay, so I'd make the outreach calls, so stick to your plan of eating. So I tried to stick to that plan of eating. Still nothing. And then there was a person who caught my attention when she asked me, well, how's your 10th step going? I'm like, well, I do it in the morning. And I really didn't know what it was, to be honest, but she said, well, no, a 10th step is, she goes, okay, let's go to page 84, right? We have to look at your defects. We have to first ask God to remove your defects. And, and so she says those 4 things that we have to do. And I was like, oh, those look like some directions. And I was drawn to her. So I asked her to help me, to sponsor me. And she did. And we went through the big book. And from then on, I kept reading the big book. And I loved the big book. It was just speaking to me. I'm just going to fast forward 5 years ago. I've been recovered 5 years and abstinent from those foods that create the allergy of the body, just like the alcohol does for the alcoholic, right? Or the cocaine for the coke, for the addict. Any behavior, any substance. For me, the allergy of the body is for more. Once I start eating those certain foods, I'm mandated to eat more. Regardless of the decision I made, 2 weeks ago or even yesterday, the body is going to do what the body does. I have no choice but to eat. It's a phenomenon of craving for more. It intensifies, never satisfied. I also had to get a plan of eating, like I mentioned. But most importantly, my sponsor said, I need you to pray and meditate every day for half an hour. I was like, whoa. And there is where I realized it's empty. My prayer and meditation is empty. All I knew how to pray was to beg. Clearly, never was I was asking for anything or anyone else, just for myself. And that too, I had to re-examine. I had to look, and this higher power, I felt awkward. And again, in the big book, it shows me where is this higher power, right? Where is this higher power? What is this spiritual awakening that will save me, right? She said, after you're done with this, you're going to have a spiritual awakening by doing the steps. So I had to continue on and doing the steps. But I needed a relationship with power. And that's what I never had, and I never took the time to build. And spirituality also is a relationship with power. So everything was just coming to me. Sometimes it felt it was probably like, scrambled in my brain, but I had to keep on it. Was I willing to continue? Yes, I was willing to continue. So my step one, I saw that I was powerless over food, right? That my life is unmanageable. So the unmanageability is my thinking. So I want to stop eating. I know those foods that will create that crazy thing once I ingest it, right? So why am I picking it up again? What sort of thinking does that? And that's why I feel I become hijacked, right? I'm just taken and swept, and then I'm like, oh my God, what happened? What did I do? I did this again. Here I am again. Oh my gosh, where was my high resolve? And again, it's because I don't have a relationship with power, right? Here I am thinking my willpower, but I don't have that willpower. Clearly, on there, in the chapter more about alcoholism, right? It tells me that I had to concede to my innermost self that I am not like other people, that I will never ever able to stop. Not only admit I am powerless, but I had to concede in my innermost self. And that's when I knew, I said, this will never change. I want to stop. I choose to stop every day, but I have no choice. I end up eating. So I have no choice. I don't have power. Again, I don't have willpower. Human aid, I don't have it. It doesn't stay. Human defense, any defense? No defense. All the memories, the suffering. And I had over 12 years of pain and suffering and gain of weight. That didn't work. Fear, for a little bit, it sobered me up, but it didn't stay. Nothing stuck. So then it proposes to us there is a solution, right? It says, if you are a seriously alcoholic or as a compulsive overeater, as we were, we believe there is no middle of the road solution. We were in a position where life was becoming impossible. And if we had passed into the region from which there is no return through human aid, that was me trying every other solution, we had but two alternatives. So I don't even have a choice to eat or not to eat. I've lost that choice. I don't have the power to choose. I chose every day not to. There I was again. I have just two alternatives, meaning just two ways. Either I'm going to go to the bitter end, blotting out the consciousness of our intolerable situation, which is for me trying to be abstinent, trying to do this as best as I could with my own willpower and memory, as best as I could, right? And sweeping it under the rug, saying, oh, this next time it'll be better. Oh, no. And the other alternative is to accept spiritual help. There is no door number three. There's not the Price is Right here. There's not a little bit of God and a little bit of food. Not for me. That is what I live in, even today that I'm recovered for 5 years. What does it look like for me in my intolerable situation? Oh my God, trying not to get upset at, the services or the people who are taking care of my in-laws. That's one example. They need health care. All the time we plan, and things don't, with them again. That's just one big thing in our life that we're taking care of now. Things that don't happen my way, right? Things always come up. What about the husband, the children, the whatever family, just life in general, service people? This is all intolerant. This is all the situation to me that I feel like I can't control. I need to manage better. And then I become like resentful. I become, fear, and all my defects just come up. So I need to ask myself, where is God here? Am I still managing and trying? Am I still playing God? Right? It tells me step 3, quit playing God, managing the director, the life, the light show, the actors, everybody, giving them a script. Well, no, I'm just an actor, just like anyone else. I have to get out of the director chair and have God sit there and have God direct my thinking. Because if not, I'm going to go back into that, that consciousness of that intolerable situation. For me, it's just living on self-knowledge, and it fails me. Also, it talks about, again, the alternative on page 44. It has me see page 44. It says here, to be doomed to an alcoholic death, right? Or to live on a spiritual basis are not always easy alternatives to face. So again, it's just a 2. Alcoholic death. I do feel it's dying inside me. I'm dying when things, when I'm not happy or free and joyous. Why am I angered? I have this, this sadness, this self-pity, right? I'm self-centered. Or am I living on a spiritual basis? Am I, seeking God here? Did I even ask God? And this is really, finding a relationship with power. This morning, every day, I need to do that. Why? Because it tells me on pages 86, right? 86 to 88. Upon awakening, right? Here I am. I need to improve my conscience contact with God. And I pray for what? I pray only for God's will for me. So I can't pray that, stop cancer, or I hope this won't happen, or I hope, that's like Christmas. That's like, Santa Claus. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. All I always need to ask in this prayer meditation is to ask God, how would he have me be today? Whom would he have me help? What is my purpose today? I have an agenda, right? We all have a life. We all have responsibilities. And I know there's always going to be some friction. I know I'm going to be uncomfortable. I know there's going to be a disturbance. I know that there's a chance that things won't go as I imagine it. The illusion, the delusion, that's me. That's what I suffer from as well. I need help to stay into the reality of things as they are, not as I wish them to be. I can't think, right? It's like that's the crux of my problem. I have a thinking problem as well. Here I am thinking what you need to say, what they need to say, how things have to be. Of course, I'm going to be let down. I'm essentially playing God again. That's not my role. That's not my role. I prayer and meditation, right? So I do that in the morning. It tells me word for word, sentence by sentence, how that's supposed to be. I ask God to direct my thinking, and I ask it to be divorced from what? Self-pity. That's me saying, oh no, not again. I can't believe this is happening. It's all him again. Oh, now he's going to say this, and now that is going to happen. It's like, oh, when am I going to get a break? Like, just I can be so negative and carry it, this heavy load, right? That's me, self-pity, right? Pour me a drink, right? Like a pity party. And we know every party ends with cake. So those are just a few lines that we hear in program. So, and from the dishonesty, right? As well, divorce me from dishonesty. Thinking whatever's going through my mind, is actually real or actually will happen. No, it's not. Many times I ask God, please remove this from me. Remove this from me. If I'm feeling annoyed, where's the compassion, God? Show me how to be compassionate. Help me see the truth. And I do this until I feel free, until I feel love for the situation or for whatever's about to come. And I believe everything will always be okay. That's That's how I look at things now. It might not look like how I imagine it to be or want it to be, but at the end, it's always what I needed. And it does always turn out. So my reliance has to be on a higher power, not on my willpower, my low, human power. So the highest power for me, I pray for wisdom. I pray for direction. I pray for if it's care. I pray for honest thinking. I pray for compassion. I pray for forgiveness. Help me to forgive them or it. And myself too, for just being human, just doing the best that I can today. And align me back into a place of where I can be most useful today. Where can I be helpful, God, today? Who can I call? Let me make those calls to see really how are they doing? What can I do for you today? Not just for me. Because after all, God gave us brains to use. I love when it says that. And that's because that's me thinking, okay, you know what? I can do this. Wait a minute. I didn't think about that. And it's really amazing. Our thought life will be placed on a much higher plane when our thinking is clear of wrong motives. So wrong motives would be, I really don't feel like it. They'll cancel on it, or like I can't be bothered. I can't believe I have to make that phone call again. I have to like self-sacrifice my Netflix time, and here I have to like do this. It's always me. What am I, the maid? Or these people are so rude. Or people that hurt us. Why did they say that? Are they saying that about me? How am I going to manipulate them so they can like me? Right? A whole bunch of stuff could go in my head. So in thinking about our day, we may face indecision. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here, we ask God for inspiration, an intuitive thought, or a decision. We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. It's like, whoa, that's hard. I can't shut my mind. I ask God to remove the thoughts. He does the heavy lifting. But it's my responsibility. It's my will that I go to this power. That's all I'm asked to do here. Did I go to God? Did I befriend this? Am I applying the solution? And it's really the steps. Every step is a solution for me. So we're often surprised how the right answers come after we have tried this for a while. And what was an occasional inspiration gradually becomes a working part of the mind. Oh my gosh, there it is. Now my mind's not working like it used to be. It's out with the old, in with the new. Why? Because I've had this spiritual awakening. It happens. God removes that from me. So I'm always here in the moment. And my thinking will be, as time passes, more and more on the plane of inspiration. We come to rely upon it. So whereas before I was using food, I was using, people pleasing, I was trying to, who knows what I was trying to do, overthinking. I don't have to anymore. I really know I need to go to God, because the spiritual awakening will only happen when I start to change the sentences in my mind. I start believing that there is a power there. So again, I had to revolutionize my thinking, right? So all my old ideas, my beliefs, I have to cast them all aside, right? Cast them all aside. I try to envision just sweeping them away for now. I abandon all those ideas, and I go to this God here for new ideas. I ask for a new experience. Help me see this as you see this. How would you delight me? How would you delight in me being with this? Give me the words. Give me the directions. And I feel that I am being carried. I feel that we all have a higher power down deep inside us. I didn't have to look very deep. It says on page 55, like, where and how is this power? Where? It's down deep inside us. It's fundamental. We have it just like we have, and anything that we have, any other skill or talent that we have. This fundamental of God is there, absolutely. And God is waiting. This higher power is waiting. Intuitive thought, spirit of the universe, however we name it. And how is by searching diligently down deep. So there's that action. Am I pausing? Did I quiet the mind? Did I sit with God and pray, meaning ask, what would be his will for me today? Let your will be my only goal today. I have a few more minutes. And so I lost my train of thought. So there's my prayer and meditation. So God comes in that spiritual awakening. So I'm awakened to the truth now. I'm awakened that I can't do this. I will never be able to fully do anything that I'm trying to control. When I know I'm trying to control things, again, that's me taking on God's power by trying to do God's job. And it doesn't work. Again, the alternative is to ask for help. And then I'm able, and then I'm okay. And then things happen, and they always do turn out. I'm still amazed. I hear God all the time. I have so many God moments that I can share with you that still today I find, I don't know, just unbelievable. But once we live in that consciousness of a higher power, it's a fact. I know I live with a higher power today. I don't believe in coincidences. Somebody said, "Oh, they coincide," right? Because I'm there. I'm living now in the fourth dimension, right? I'm connected to this higher power now. And so I continue to live in 10, 11, 12. I need to share this with someone. So I'm immune to drinking or immune to my own stinking thinking. This is what's going to help me, is by carrying a message, because God is always there. And for me, God is really love. So it could show up as, being patient, being kind, being of service, helping others through their inventory. I need to help others. And not only in program, but in my personal life as well. And the gifts of the program is the freedom of that voice in your head, or I should say my head, doesn't exist. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't say mean things. It doesn't have me do crazy things with food anymore. And so I still am around food. I'm still around alcohol. I'm still around people, things that could have given me a problem, or sometimes could still look problematic. But you know what? They don't own me. They don't own me. I'm always like, my safe haven is with God. If I have God, everything else is okay. That's the most important relationship in my life, is a relationship with God. And then I can, have a relationship with food, my husband, my children, my in-laws, with sickness, with money, whatever, with all those worldly issues we all see every day. And so working with others, 1,000%. And it says at the very beginning of the big book, right? We're here, we're called to help others. And it's so important. So I remember, how it used to be for me, and I know exactly what I need to do. So when I try to help someone find their own higher power, my higher power strengthens, and it reminds me of my own humility, my own humanness. And then I can go and ask help to someone else. You see, this is why it's a we program. I don't do this by myself. I think I'm done with it. So thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Cathy. Thank you for walking through that and sharing your experience, strength, and hope. I've written down several questions here, and a reminder to our live audience, if you have a question for Cathy, please type it in the chat. If you'd like to remain anonymous, you can either direct message me in the chat, or at the beginning of your question, write anonymous. If you don't do that, I'll read your first name. But just grateful to have you here, Cathy. Grateful for our live audience. So, Cathy, the first question I have for you is, we're talking about we had two alternatives here. One is to go on and blotting out the misery, the intolerable situation, and the other is to accept spiritual help. When your situation is intolerable, when you're in that place, what does that pause look like to you? What does that moment of separation and reconnection with power look like to you practically?
I literally just stop whenever I can, because if I'm driving or whatever, and then I can just say, all right, I'm struggling again. And so I can get to a place or wherever I can safely get to somewhere, and I just really just sit, and I close my eyes, And I just say, okay, help me see this, God. I'm so annoyed or I'm so afraid. What am I not willing to see? Where's my selfishness? Right? They're not following my script. They're not giving me what I want. And then the dishonesty, well, how do you know what you want is best? Right? They have a higher power. Maybe this needs to be this is exactly how they're supposed to be behaving for the greater good to happen. I don't know more than their higher power. And so whatever it is, but I need to do that 10 step. I need to check for my selfishness, dishonesty, self-seeking, and the fear. Fear again is relying on me and on God. So that's the closing. It's like, oh my gosh, here I am still relying on me that I know. I need to tell them what to do. I need to get in there. No, I don't. No, I don't. God's there for me. God help me. And it's always followed by action. The fear, I go out and help someone. I do something else. If I can't be of service or I can't help the situation for it to happening, well, then I go do something else. And then that changes me. But I need to make that time for pause, pray and use spiritual energy. There's the solution for me. There's where God is again.
Got questions about addiction, recovery, or just life in general? Let's noodle it out together. Grab your big book, a pen, a highlighter, and a notepad, and join Nikki M and me, Justin B, on Rico 12 Noodle It Out with Nikki M. Each episode, we take real-life questions, ours, yours, and those from the recovery community, and dig deep into the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous to find real, practical solutions. So, if you're ready to do the work and apply the solution, tune in to Noodle It Out with Nikki M, streaming now on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you, Cathy, for walking through that beautiful process. All right, have an anonymous question from our live audience. This person asks, which meetings and programs do you attend, Cathy? Tell us about the meetings and program, the fellowship that you're in.
So I am an Overeaters Anonymous, and so I go to a phone conference call every morning. They have 2 meetings, one at 7 a.m. and another one at 10 a.m. And it's a big book study meeting. We read and share on every paragraph. It's called A Vision for You. Sorry, that was my timer. It's called A Vision for You. I do that one. I also have other OA meetings. I listen to, if I can put my phone number and you can ask me and I can send you links, whoever is interested. But I also listen to of course, Rico 12. I sometimes there's speakers that, this platform. I go to those as well. I also do some Al-Anon. And yeah, I think that's about it. Usually, those 4 or 5 that I'm pretty much religious on.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing that. All right. Next question comes from Tamara. Do you do your step 10 many times a day or one time a day? What happens when you feel the resentment rising?
I do it when they come up. I need to watch for those, right? It says watch for those defects. I have to watch where what's going on in my head. What am I telling myself? What am I trying to, whatever, manage, control? So they come up a lot because I have a lot of thoughts during the day, more at the beginning. And now they're just turned around quicker because it's like a skill set. The more I do it, the more I practice it, the more I'm able to, nip it in the bud. And sometimes I need to call someone because I'm still not sure that I'm wrong. I'm still not like, so they tell me, when we talk about it and they help me see that, wow, like, look how we are when we're really trying to run the show, right? Run everybody on set and, trying to put everybody in their place. So I find myself, I can do at least once a day for sure. And if not, I'm always doing gratitudes. But sometimes it's happened a few times. I can be like bothered, twice, 3 times. But it's daily. It really is a consciousness for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Cathy. And that practice of watching and when these things crop up, the selfishness, resentment, fear, dishonesty, addressing them immediately has honestly changed my whole recovery, and not waiting until the end of the day, to review that, doing it as it happens, because I keep a better semblance of sanity in my life as I do that, rather than just freaking out and saying, "Oh, I'll address it tonight when I'm getting ready to go to bed." Thank you for sharing that. So at the beginning of your talk, when you were introducing yourself, Cathy, you mentioned some self-harm, nail biting, other self-harm manifestations of the disease that, for many people may not be obvious. It may not be something that they're like, "Man, I'm dying in nail biting," or whatever. How do you address those, that self-harm thing in your recovery?
How do I address it? I see that I have this nervous disposition, just like, talked about Jim and Fred, right? They have like this nervous disposition, this unsettling restlessness. That was me. That's just the way I was born. That's just the way I was born. People, ADD. I discovered in my 40s I have ADD. In school, I was struggling. I could not like stay. You know, so I had these behaviors. I needed to self-soothe. I needed other people. I don't know what other people do. I just know my body, but I know now with a higher power, now I'm able to see, oh my gosh, I don't have to do that behavior anymore. And if I have a tendency of, oh my God, I really want to shop, oh my God, like I get too overly excited about doing something because I saw someone do it or whatever, then I know, no, don't do anything. It's not the time to make a decision when you're overly excited or when you're really mad, right? So there's where I know I have to ask God. So now I'm able to see, what's going on inside my temperature, my spiritual temperature, right? So I'm lucky that I have this relationship with power, and it keeps me, from self-harm and even harm to others. And when I do harm others, if I say something snarky or if I'm rude, I make amends quickly.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So, Cathy, one of the things that you also mentioned early in your share was, when you first entered the 12-step rooms, entered OA, you were just there kind of checking the boxes, just showing up and doing those things, but it wasn't working. Talk about the importance of jumping in. I mean, there's no middle of the road solution here. But talk to us about the importance of a sponsor, of working the program and not just checking the boxes in your own experience.
Yeah. So the sponsor really had me see that I needed accountability. I needed discipline. And while I was building a relationship with God, she wanted me to do a few things. She wanted me to send her an email every evening. And this is how I work with sponsees as well, because it worked with me. I asked them to do 4 things: prayer and meditation. And how was that? How was your prayer and meditation time? I asked them to send me at the very beginning, up until we do the steps, what they ate. Because for us, for compulsive overeaters, we still try to take control of our food. So we have a plan so we could be less busy worrying about what to eat, how much, and all that. So we have a plan from a nutritionist or a dietitian, and we're reaching our goals, so we don't have to worry about what to eat, when to eat it. A lot of us need that structure. Like me, I wouldn't want to eat all day, and then I find myself like, binging mid-afternoon, and then it's like, oh my God, like I just want to be abstinent. How come I can't do this? Well, I need to have that structure. The third thing we do is we work the big book, the steps. What steps are we doing? Reading the chapter, listening to a podcast. And then we make time to talk every other day. And service. So what can you do? You can always help anybody. If it's your first day in OA, well, you can talk to the person who just came in the day before you, and you can get on a meeting, offer your services, open up a meeting, meaning in-person meeting, do service, set up the chairs. I ask that you either read the steps at a meeting. There's always, we have these Zoom links now that you can offer yourself to help them. And so even in your community, think of who you can help today. What did you do for someone else just because? Without not getting paid or anything. It's not like money where, you work and you have to go to work. Something else. Start thinking about others. And those 4 things essentially is how I still live like today. So she was setting me up for success. She showed me every day I need to be in the big book. Every day I should, be listening to a podcast, a big book study meeting every day, prayer and meditation, and to be of service. So that's what a sponsor did for me, and it helped me so much. So now I ask the same for sponsees, and God willing, they they'll continue to carry a message.
Hey Spearheads, if you're looking to dive deeper into the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous with people who live the solution, then you won't want to miss RICO 12 Big Book Roundtable. Join David G., Nikki M., and me, the moderator Justin B., 3 recovered addicts from multiple fellowships, as we break down the big book line by line. In each 30-minute episode, we share our experience, strength, and hope in a real, raw, and practical roundtable discussion. So, if you are ready to learn and apply what you learn, tune in to RICO 12 Big Book Roundtable on your favorite podcast platform.
Well.
Yeah, and I love how you said that your sponsor initially said the most important thing is to pray and meditate every day. It was more important than the food plan initially. And is that still the case? Is that more important than the food plan to you today? Or is that like trying to get things rolling into that?
Well, that's the miracle now. I don't have a problem with food anymore. The obsession left me. I don't have to struggle. I don't suffer. And so food was a problem. Absolutely. It was my go-to. It was my big distraction. It was my solution. So now I have a new solution. So the food is in its place. I can go anywhere. I've traveled all the time, and I just know how my food is supposed to be. And it's just, I'm very I'm very firm. I don't eat certain foods, and I don't want to. I don't crave them because I'm not digesting them. And so now it's really just being the person God created me to be. How can I be the best, version of myself when I'm being a wife, a mom, a sister, a daughter-in-law, a neighbor, just somebody, just anywhere, traveling, at the store, just there. Where can I always bring the light? Where can I always, well, how am I serving? What's the message I'm carrying? Because we're always carrying a message. We are always carrying a message. I want to carry a godly-like message, not a upset and bitter person. So yeah, I work on my relationship with power. Yeah, food, I don't have to work on it because I just know exactly where it's supposed to be, how it is.
Yeah, I love how you said, I'm just trying to be who God or power wants me to be. How has who you are evolved over the last, several years as you've been applying these principles in your life? How has who you see yourself as evolved?
It's funny. I I still have a tendency to see myself as, oh my gosh, like you're not doing it right. Like you're still not this. That's me always. So what I come to see is what others, seek from me. I have a cousin friend, we're friends, and she's like, I need your calmness. Me calm? I like, whoa, that's like, I need your words. I need your comfort. I get that from others. My sponsor as well. She's, always sees the best in me, whereas I always see the worst in me, and that's the spiritual malady. It's so unfortunate, and so I just feel grateful that I have this higher power that I hope God today, I made you happy. Um, my, just help me help my kids. I hope I'm being the best, give me the words so I can be a good mom. So I can always doubt myself, but I see around me, people are always around me, calling, texting. I have different relationships. I bring God into everything. My kids tell me, "Oh, Mom, I'm so proud of you," or "Mama, that's great." And you're just, you're such a great, like my daughter writes me birthday cards, you're a great role model. Just kindness, your understanding, you're this is. So it's like, thank you, God. This is God. This is God. You know, it's not me. I can't take the credit. It's really God's handiwork. It's really, it's just a miracle. So it happens.
I'm gonna take one of those examples you used. Someone said, "Hey, I need your calm demeanor," and you're like, "Me, calm?" But how do you accept those types of things that people see in you with humility and with gratitude, without letting it inflate your head? Without it getting you egocentric.
Right. So I just have them share. I don't get in there and say, okay, what happened? Tell me what you said. Tell me what, I don't get in there like that. I'm like, so what's going on? Like, tell me, And so I let them talk. I let them, and then I share how it is for me, if I have a similar example, so I just share how I view it, what happened and how it is, and that everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. So it's me putting dependence on God again. It's just me identifying in with her pain, with her sorrow, with her fear, with her resentment, because we all have those even outside the rooms. And so I just help her see, yeah, absolutely, sure. And then see for me what worked for me. I was there too. And then, then I started to put a little bit of faith. And then I started, doing this and just really trying to be as honest as I can. And it really is always a happy ending. It always is a happy ending. And that's how it is. So I don't make it about me. I really believe there's a bigger force, a greater force out there. The universe is conspiring to make us happy, joyous, and free. And so a lot of us are all in self-bondage. That's right. We're trying to control or change, thinking that it's going to be the worst. No, this can't happen. Don't even like, and then it's like, oh, it's not that bad. It's okay after. I can be okay with this. I don't have to like it. You know what? So I don't really make it about me. I make it about that I have faith. Things can be okay, however they will be, and they usually are, and it's just what it is. No attachment. It's just how it went.
Good. Thank you, Cathy. I've got a couple more questions as we start moving into wrap up here. One is to the person who maybe this is the first time they've really ever listened to a 12-step meeting or entered a 12-step meeting, or maybe they've just entered one and they're like, oh, I'm going to listen to this podcast. What experience, strength, and hope do you have to share for the newcomer, the person who's just coming in and dying? Hey, Rico 12 Spearheads. If our recovery resources have helped you, please consider a donation. Your financial support, as well as your word of mouth support, keeps Rico 12 running and reaching the man who is still sick. Donate today at rico12.com/support or check the show notes for PayPal and Venmo links. Every contribution helps carry the message. Thanks for being a Rico 12 spearhead.
Yeah. You know, for me, I needed these. I needed the rooms. I needed to come in. I needed to hear people's recovery. I needed to find within myself too the courage or the desperation. I had to be at a desperate place. And I wish I could just give, recovery over, give them that gift of desperation. But it really has to come from oneself. And if you have to try, if you feel you still have another solution, if you still feel there's a door number 3, then let's talk. Let's see. How's that working for you? Honestly, truly, how's that working for you? Is there another option? And I had to see for myself that there wasn't. So again, me thinking I know better. And so I had to put aside everything I thought and have an open mind and be willing to try this again so I can get a new experience. So I would just say, are you willing to try this again to continue? Ask for help. There are lots of recovered people here who want to help you, who need to help you for their own recovery. And so, extend that hand and someone will grab it as well. But, the willingness to go on to have a new experience. And who doesn't want a new experience, right? Life is all about experiences. So that's all you're asked to do. That's all I was asked to do. Are you willing to try? Meaning do this, and just, again, we keep trying, and the miracle does happen if you honestly, sincerely take that position, right? Of seeing that this is going to keep happening to me. I'm done trying, or accept spiritual help. And I hope you continue.
Good. Thank you. Now, next question is for the old timer, someone who's been in the room for 5, 10, 15, 30, 40 years, and maybe they're thinking, I think I've gotten all I can out of this fellowship, out of this program. What message do you have for them, maybe?
Sounds like they're not in the fourth dimension anymore if they feel they've had enough. Seems that you've checked out somehow. There's where's your prayer and meditation? What did God tell you this morning on awakening? And then a lot is like, well, I didn't really, yeah, that's why. You're not going to feel close to someone if you're not close to someone, right? Seems like you've already taken another path. And so it's evidential. It'll just, it'll just be obvious that you've door number 3 again. You went to another altar. You went back, trying to find something else. So that's what I would question. Your prayer, your meditation. What are you relying on? And yeah.
Good. Well, thank you. So as we wrap up, do you have any final words of wisdom for us before we go into closing readings?
Words of wisdom. Oh boy. Just stay close to God. Really just stay with this higher power. It wants the best for you. It has already, equipped you with everything that you need, and you are stronger than you think. So believe in the higher powers thinking. Believe that there's another way. And you won't be misguided. God will never misguide you. Always has you and us in his loving arms, safe and protected.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Cathy, for an amazing Rico 12 speaker meeting. if anybody else here in the live audience or out there in the listening world, the podcast world, has a question or you'd like to continue this conversation, please consider joining our WhatsApp community. You can email me at rico12pod@gmail.com to be added to that. Cathy, if someone wants to reach out to you, are you okay if they email me and I can relay them to you?
Yes, please.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Same email address if you'd like to get connected with Cathy. If you haven't yet done this, please consider rating and reviewing the podcast on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify. It's a powerful way to work step 12 and share recovery with others. Next Friday, we will have a speaker. The speaker is not yet confirmed for next week, but I'm sure we'll have that speaker, but I'm looking forward to hearing from them next week. And stay updated via WhatsApp or our email list to get information on that. If you're not yet subscribed, once again, same email address, send it to me. I'll get you on there. All right, let's close out of here with the third step prayer that Cathy will send us out with.
God, we offer ourselves to thee to build with us and to do with us as thou wilt. Relieve us of the bondage of self, that we may better do thy will. Take away our difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those we would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May we do thy will always. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Cathy. Remember, everybody, there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find God now. Keep coming back. And when you do, come all the way in, sit all the way down, and let's trudge this road of happy destiny together. Work it. You are worth it.
I've seen stars fall from above. I've fallen in and out of love. I've been high and I've been low. Now I know I just can't do this on my own. I've seen a boy become a man. He got lost without a plan. He's so far away from home. Now I know I just can't do this on my own. Your arms surrounding me. Your touch is grounding me. No longer searching for purpose all alone. 'Cause now I know that I just can't do this on my own. I'm looking for the words to say. You make the world a better place, and I can call that place my home. 'Cause now I know that I just can't do this on my own. Your arms surrounding me. Your touch is grounding me. No longer searching for purpose all alone. 'Cause now I know that I just can't do this on my own. So let me see just what you need to set you free, so we can be free. I saw stars fall from above. I fell in and out of love. I got high and I fell low. But now I know that I just can't do this on my own. No, I just can't do this on my own. I just can't do this on my own.